All right, hey guys, it's Cream, aka Miss Cream of the Crop. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Cream. And I'm really excited to welcome you to a new season. Now, I know last season was like short, sweet, and maybe not to the point, and who cares? It is what it is. It was what it was. This is a new season. I'm opening the new season with Chimi. Usually, I open the new season with a reflection.
Yeah.
That's okay. I can do a reflection after this. Like, I'm learning.
We can reflect together.
Exactly. You know, because I'm learning to be okay with things going exactly how they are supposed to go. You know.
For sure.
Exactly.
For sure.
So, welcome to Conversations with Cream. I'm
Thank
really
you
excited about having this sit-down conversation with you.
Same here. Same here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I feel like this has been like a long. I don't think it's been a long time coming. I just feel like
we knew it was gonna happen.
Exactly.
Yeah. It was right timing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everything happens when it's supposed to.
Exactly.
You're just like, it's time. It's like, all right, cool.
Let's do it.
And if you guys could see, I mean, it's beautiful here because both of us are here, and this is all. If you could see all. We're in the new office / studio. It is so not ready for any of this, but I made it happen.
Yeah.
Like I said, you know, you're like, it's time. And I said, all right, well, if you're ready to do this around all of this, then we can do it.
Yeah.
So.
Amen to it.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's get into this conversation. Let's start with you.
Me.
You. Hi. Hello.
Hi.
So I'm gonna tell you all how I met this amazing, wonderful, beautiful person to my right.
That's a lot of adjectives. But thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So I attended an event, was new, and it was all about art in the community, and we're not gonna tell you what the event was. They don't need any extra promo.
They don't.
It was a lot of really? Yes. And we were sitting next to one another, and things progressed, and then we're here.
Yeah, literally. Yeah,
exactly how it happened. And then I think we saw each other at another event, and we're like, hey!
At Lacey, you had her.
At Lacey. We will talk about that event.
Yeah.
That was an event that can be mentioned. It was
Yes.
It was at Lacey's art exhibition, and we were excited to see one another. We were just like, and then now we're here.
Now we're here. Yeah. Wonderful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So again, as I said, everything happens the way that it's supposed to, and people that are supposed to be within your presence will make their way there.
Definitely.
So we're here. So let's rewind a little bit. Let's rewind to before that date of the head scratching event. You guys said you're gonna do what? Where? You've been doing what? For whose community?
For who?
Because it's people here from the community, and we're just like,
No, for real. There was a lot of joint. Yeah, shaking, yeah, it was a lot.
I think it got to a point where you were like doodling on the paper.
Literally, I started journaling.
Yes,
I was journaling and drawing and writing like action statements of like how I wanted to do things that they weren't doing. So it was, literally.
Yeah, we were in like, both of us were in our own like mini church service.
Yes.
Like literally.
No,
that was hilarious.
That was meeting you was the highlight of that event, honestly. Like I was just like, I don't even like I came alone. I usually go to those things a lot, but I was like, like to be sitting next to someone who gets it. I'm like, all right.
Same. I was alone too.
Yeah, okay.
Same. So that was amazing for me too. I was like, it was like I always have this thing where we say like I got to put my shoulders down because you know when you. Like, I don't know if you... A lot of times we don't realize when we're walking into spaces that our shoulders are like this.
Oh, yeah.
And so we have this thing that we say to each other, like, put your shoulders down. You're like, oh, I didn't even realize my shoulders were up.
As soon as you said that, I was like, oh.
Yeah. Let me put my shoulders down. Yeah. So it's like, in that moment, sitting next to you helped me, like, put my shoulders down. I was like, okay. Because, you know, a lot of times there are spaces where there aren't a lot of us. Mm-hmm. So we're walking in and our shoulders are up because we're like, what am I supposed to say? How should I present myself? Even if you are one of those people that don't feel like you need to code switch or do anything. You still feel on guard.
Definitely.
Regardless.
Definitely.
You still feel on guard.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you can find that person or a group of people where you just feel like, okay, I just need to, because it's like life is, I don't think people, as much as we talk about these topics online, unless you have those lived experiences, I don't think people realize how stressful life can be as a Black person, as a woman, or just as a person of color, because every minority group has their own stressors. But unless you have that lived experience, it's really hard to really just fathom what it feels like to walk in spaces in that person's skin.
Literally. And it's hard to communicate to other people too. It's like, I don't know how to get empathy or like
empathy,
whatever. But yeah, you just gotta. Yeah, we lived it, so.
Yeah, because it's like you live it for so long that it is hard to contextualize it, because it's just like, because I think that we kind of talk about it.
Yeah.
But I think that living through it for so long, I don't think that we say it in a manner in which it sounds as bad as it is.
Of course not, but that's where I feel like artists shine, because like we're able to turn our experiences into like something people can fathom, something you can relate to with, you know, whether it's a beat or a word or a ooh or ah, you know, you feel that. So that's why I veered towards music, because like I feel like there's so much sometimes the people that you even live with, you can't even contextualize things for them, but when you step into that studio, you step into that your space, your safe space, it's like, okay, I can be in my world and still share through it. And I think that's really magical. But
so when did you realize that you were a creative?
Right off the bat, I grew up in Nigeria, and being the daughter of pastors, pretty much they literally opened the church, I think like maybe months before I was born.
Yes.
So it was like being born into a church, and just we had musicians, and I would kind of just play around things, like pick up different instruments. I was playing the harmonica at some point.
Wow.
But as a child, not right now. But
you're like, wait, before you even try,
right? Don't
to ask me to get my Stevie Wonder on.
No, but I just genuinely had that interest, and they saw that the musicians, and they would just welcome me to try playing the trumpet, get on the drums, get on the keys, whatever it may be, sing, So from an early age, I was in that realm of ministry, and then it just kept going as I got older. So I'd say like maybe at the age of 3, I was like, I'm gonna be there. Like, let me go to all the choir rehearsals. Like I was at everything. So,
So being unapologetically Nigerian, and then living this American experience, and growing up with pastors, and being, a PK. That's a lot.
It is. I'm learning to. I'm working through it. I'm working through it. I mean, every day is it's a new journey. I call, like, anytime I'm like entering a new phase of life, like right now I'm entering a new phase, but I see things as adventures, and people like, it's like, oh, you shouldn't be treating your life as an adventure, baby. You gotta get serious. And I'm like,
why not?
Exactly. Like, this is all made up anyway. Like, we might as well have fun with it and have a playful perspective on things, because like then you just get caught up in all the hurt and the trauma and all the BS. But personally, it's just been like, I thank God for every single experience that I've had, whether it's in the church, outside of the church, in the clubs, at the underground shows. I've been in so many different spaces that it really has prepped me for, you know, what's to come. So yeah.
That's an amazing outlook on your life, because I'm just thinking about, like, not ups and downs, but it just seems like it's just been like waves.
Oh yeah.
Like it's just riding a wave, because I can't even imagine living the life and the dynamic of having all of the presence in my life, because I grew up in a very religious home too, and I know what it was like for me, and presenting certain parts of my life that I was just like, you know, I'm not really interested in that part anymore, and I know what I went through saying, I'm not interested in I love you, and that works for
I love
you.
No, that just hit a nerve.
You know, I love you, that works for you, and saying it in such a way that you want them to understand that I am still being respectful.
Oh yeah. Out of love. But
I am going to walk away from your version of spirituality for my own version of spirituality in hopes that I can still be alive.
Yeah. And I think.
How is that for you?
For me, it's like we're all working towards the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, you could be a pastor of a mega church, a church that's, you know, very small, or a member, someone who's not even religious. But we're all like working towards the same thing. We all want peace.
Exactly.
We all want love.
Exactly.
We all want the things that we want for ourselves to actually happen in our, you know, in our lifetime, and not die with regrets. But for me, just navigating that space is just like boundaries. Heavy on the boundaries. You know, all the things you hear about PKs, you know, it's like, you know, that expectation of, you know, people just thinking that because you're born into this, you know, lineage or family or ministry, they think like you belong to them. It's like, I have to have control of what you're doing and how you perceive life. And just setting those boundaries, and, you know, like people have no option but to fall into line, like once you start standing up for yourself, and confidence, and, you know, that comes along with it. You know, once you set that boundary, it's like, okay, I can say it again. Like, it's not just once. Like, you know, like
you built that confidence. Like, I can relate to that because I think for the longest time, and tell me if you relate to this, when you grow up in a very religious household, when you're outside of your home from your parents and away from like people at the church, you are like, I'm an adult, I'm grown. It's kind of easy to set those boundaries with people. But then when you're back around like church or people from church or your parents, for some reason you forget that you're an adult. You don't know how to be an adult. You don't know. It's like you turn into this little kid and you're afraid all of a sudden. But then the one day that you actually get the courage to just, not in a disrespectful way, but you get the courage to just say, you know, I'm an adult. Here's my boundary. And when it's set, like, you feel so courageous. And then you're like, that feels so good. I can't wait to do it again.
Really. And for me, it's just finding language of how I'm gonna put it to people. Like having the language before I step into that room. It's like, because there's like, everyone has opinions. And you know, with the family members, you know, whoever it may be, but, you know, sometimes I'll let them talk. And then like, I have my thing, I'm like, here's what I'm going to do. Like, thank you for that, or you know, whatever it may be, but here's how I see it. Here's how, you know, so it's not coming from I don't care what you say.
Like an argumentative.
Yeah, it's like, no, this is what I've already decided to do. So, thank you for your input. But yeah, just that confidence, man. Like, it will take you so far. Like,
absolutely.
And just knowing what you're willing to put up with, and for yourself, like, you don't even need to communicate that to other people. I make sure that I'm not going to my family and like listing all the things that, like, hey, if you do this, I'm out. If you do, no. It's like, for me, having that, you know, hey, I can't tolerate this kind of language or, you know, these things. And so,
And I think doing what you said is a good thing, because I think a lot of times people, if they care, it's easier for them to listen to you if they understand that they are still appreciated. Because I think most of the time people, their issue, and I'm not saying issue in a negative way, I think their issue is feeling like the appreciation is gone, especially if it's a parent.
Respect,
like if it's a parent or someone that's close to you that loves you, I think that their main concern is, oh my gosh, the appreciation is gone. They don't appreciate all the things I've done for them. And then once they feel like their appreciation is gone, like, then they feel like your respect is gone as well. And I think once we have set that I still love you, the respect is still there.
Exactly,
I just have my own set of boundaries now. Like, I am an adult enough to have boundaries now. Like,
exactly.
This is
where
where I am. I love you.
Right.
Still.
Right.
If you love me, like, I respect your boundaries enough to not disrespect your wishes and everything that you have set for yourself. And I'm just asking for that to be reciprocated. And literally, I think that that's the best way to handle those certain situations. And some people follow those boundaries and some people don't. And then you have to make that decision for yourself, albeit hard, to just either give people space so that you can protect yourself.
Oh, for sure.
Or continue to just go around and be hurt.
That part.
Exactly. So you learned early on that you were creative. So who helped you hone those skills? Like, who said, I see this and I want to feed this and continue to help this grow?
Honestly, that question. Okay. It was actually the opposite.
Okay.
You know, so with the music thing, right? People seeing that I'm interested in the, you know, the drums, the keyboard. So my parents, they got, you know, someone from the church to teach me how to play keyboard. You know, as long as I was playing at, you know, church, you know, like singing, all the, you know, my musical experience as a child was very censored. It wasn't like, it was literally like, cover your ears if you hear something that you know you're not supposed to be hearing. And you know, with that sense, I missed out on a lot of like my culture, because, you know, we're not gonna get into colonization and like, you know, religion in Africa, but it's very, like, religion in Africa is very intense. So being in a space where it was almost like we're like radical Christians, where like music that was coming from Nigeria, like Fela Kuti, it's like I didn't even know that existed until I came to America. Wow. Literally.
So what age were you when you came to America?
We came to America, I was 8, I believe. 8 or 9. And so at that point, you know, going to school, you're listening, you know, kids are listening to R&B, hip hop. I'm like, oh, what's this? You know? Like, I can get down, okay? But no, it was very interesting, because all the music that I listened to, not like, you know, from, you know, back in the day, I kind of had to like discover it for myself. It wasn't like passed on, and I think it makes that even more special, because it's like, I like this, not just because somebody told me to like this. Yeah, you like it. I like it because I genuinely like it, and I love the sound. So, so yeah, having that experience and having parents who they definitely nurtured me in a in a
In
great
their
way,
way.
in their way, and I
Yeah.
really appreciate that. But when I would drawing and the arts, when I started talking about it like more seriously, that's when it kind of got like put a lid on it. It was like, no. Like, no, you're so they had their own they have their own reasons for that. I respect it, but for me it was very discouraging, and it kind of, for like 7 years I stopped everything.
Wow.
Like literally stopped singing for myself. I was just singing at church diligently every week.
I can relate.
Never missed a beat.
I can relate.
Leading worship, praise, all of that, and I love
flashbacks.
Like, that's a big part of my story, because my relationship with God is second to none.
Mm-hmm.
So I thank God for that, but at the same time, just having people that you love kind of try to dim your light. It's something that I wouldn't wish on anyone.
Same.
And I think of like when I have children, it's like, I want you to think anything and everything is possible.
Absolutely.
It's not just what I see for myself or what I see for you. You should be able to dream and just run with it. I want to give you that fire starter to just explode and show the world everything that you have to offer. But it's like, they're like, it was to a point where I'm like, am I even talented? Like, can I even sing? Like, it wasn't, I don't know, like, when they're so used to seeing you in a certain space, you stop getting praise. I'm not saying I'm doing anything for praise, but
no, I understand.
It was to a point where I was just like,
you're human though. Humans crave affection and interaction.
Exactly.
And it's not about clout. It's not about see me because I'm narcissist. There are narcissists out there. Don't get me wrong. We know
them.
However, I think that we forget that as human beings, that's a part of being a human being. There are studies that show like plants grow better with touch, with talk, like, and they're plants. Literally. Animals thrive when they have other animals around to give them affection. When we have pets, like, pets do better when you show them affection instead of just locking them up somewhere and just forgetting that they're there. We are alive and we are supposed to have affection and interaction. So it's not anything wrong with wanting someone to just say, you look amazing today, or you sound amazing. Like, no,
literally. And I missed that for so long that it kind of, like I said, it just dimmed my light. But then, I went into this phase of just, not even a phase, I had this epiphany that, or like stepping into myself more, that I control these legs. I control this throat. I control how I view this situation and what I can take from it. So, like I said, I appreciate everything my parents have done for me, and my community growing up. But it just did not satisfy this hunger for more, and like no one was pushing me. No one was getting me out of my comfort zone. I was introducing new things to those spaces. Like I'd remix Storm. Do you know Stormzy?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I would remix his songs into like gospel, like do it on Sundays. It was a hit, man.
Listen,
Blinded by Your Grace.
The things that you do when you grow up in the church to still be worldly, but not.
Yo, I was like, I'm gonna hop in my bag, like you're gonna see, like, and then I started photography. That kind of got me out and like into more creative spaces, and so I've just been trailblazing ever since. I really have no intention of going back to that like hindered space of like I can't we got stuff to do.
Exactly.
We have things to do.
I love that for you. I do. I love that for you. And I can relate so much to parts of your story. Growing up, like I said, in a very religious household, like it was like we couldn't even do things like wear nail polish. Like I couldn't wear pants. I wasn't allowed to show my arms. Like I wasn't allowed to wear sandals. It was that, like, it was a lot. It was very intense. And, you know, it was just certain things where it was like women are made for marriage and children. And it was just like, but the thing for me was, you know, when my mom found that religion, it was like after we had already lived like a regular life. And then everyone at our church was like, had grown up in that. So coming into it was just like, what? It's like,
what is going on?
What did you find? Right. Because, you know, I don't understand this. Because these people are telling, you know, I grew up being taught that I could be whatever I wanted to be. And, you know, going to performing art school and just doing all the things to then being around people that, you know, relating to what you were saying, was putting a lid on talents. Like, if your talents aren't being solely used for church service, it cannot be used at all, because if you use it, it is of the devil. And it's just like, but I don't understand. And I battled with that for so long, and, you know, we're in that for a really long time. And then, like you were saying, like one day I just realized, it was almost like going back to what I was saying when I respectfully said, hey, you know, I love you so much. And the day that I spoke up for myself, I was like, that felt so empowering. I can't wait to do this again. Respectfully.
Right, with
and
love.
Then exactly. And then just throughout the years, just like you said, just finding my own feet and understanding that my feet take me where I would like for my feet to take me. And going back to something else you were saying, is that we all, good people, at least, I don't speak for people that aren't good, but good-hearted people, we all want the same thing. Like, we want people to, we want everyone to go to heaven. Like, we want to, I don't want to do bad by people. I treat everyone with kindness and love. Like, I'm a great person, and I don't feel that I have to do certain things in order for me to go places. I feel like if I live my life in a certain way,
it'll come.
Absolutely. And it took a while for me to be okay with walking that journey with my own feet and not the feet of my family. And understanding that,
or having them behind you.
And just understanding that I could make those decisions and still be okay with God. Because for the longest, it was like just guilt everywhere. And I had to sit myself down and say, you aren't doing anything wrong. Stop.
The guilt.
Like, you really aren't, you aren't doing anything wrong. Please stop doing this to yourself.
Truly.
You're walking around with the guilt of someone else that needed that at their time in their life before you were even born or after you were born. And so I think if we look at it like that with our parents, it's like that was something that they needed. And now it's our turn to figure out what it is that we need for ourselves. And as long as our parents respect that, that's all fine. If they don't, I mean, that's fine too. So we all have our own journey. We just have to respect the journey that we are all on for ourselves. So who was, if once you figured out your own legs and your own arms, moved your own body, who were some of your musical and creative influences? They don't have to be music, but they can be creative as well.
Creative. So I'm a very personal person. Like, the people that inspire me most are my friends. I think
that's cool.
Like, they just go so hard. and people like, I don't know if you know Intravian X.
I've seen that name on Instagram, but I don't know.
Intravian. People over at like the band Morning a Black Star. Yes.
Kyle.
I know. Just like the people that I just saw, like just doing their thing. Like, it's really amazing. There was the first people that kind of like when I was while I was still doing photography, they brought me onto their studio at Acid Studios. I think it's coming back, but they have a little hiatus going on right now. But Acid Studios, Deanna Jones and Alex, they just ran such a free space that encouraged spontaneity, encouraged creativity, but in a way where you felt included. It wasn't just, oh, I need to hire you for something. No, like how do we want to do this? How like put your 2 cents into it. So people that just trusted me out of nowhere, like and they had their reasons for trusting me, but it just felt like it felt a little more personal, and I'm a personal person.
Me too. I'm like
so
that too.
If you want me to work with you, I have to like have that connection and that vibe. And I hate to say vibe right now. I hate that word so much, but really,
it fits.
It's the spirit. You have an inviting spirit. I feel respected when I'm talking to you. I feel valued, and like I said, that's. Everyone wants that, so when we're working in creative spaces, they're very vulnerable environments, and if you don't feel that connection, you can feel very disconnected from what you're doing. And when I feel disconnected from what I'm doing, that's when I just shrink, so
you just make the only reason why I'm doing this is because you make me feel so seen. Like, it goes back to me saying, like, it's hard for, like, women to explain what it is to be a woman or what it is to be a black woman, because unless you're in our skin or you live these experiences, it's hard to say what it feels like. And you just in a way, like, summed up just a little bit of what it feels like to be seen or unseen. That's just how I feel. It's like I try my best to explain to people how uncomfortable some situations are as a creative, and it's hard to put it in words for them. It's just like, if I don't feel appreciated for the job that I've been asked to do, I'm just not inspired anymore. I just feel so like I just want to shrink and go away. It's like I just don't want to. It's not that the people are mean, they're rude. It's not that there's something wrong with you personally. I just want to go. I just want to go.
And that goes for everything too. Like even like being in the working class or whatever, like entering. Oh my gosh! Like I said, when I view things as adventures and I say it out loud, like a new job, like, oh, this would be a cool adventure, and it's like I might be there for a month. I might leave in 2 months, but it's a cool
adventure over.
Right? That was quick.
You know those Mad Libs where it's like, do you want to go to page 5?
Oh yeah.
Or you want to do page 2, or you want to continue the adventure?
Yeah. It's like, no, for real, and it's like if. Like, I don't care what it is. You could be paying me $1 million.
Yes.
Like, if I do not feel like these people in these rooms that I'm supposed to be sharing space with every day, how much time of my life?
Exactly.
My life? Like, it's valuable. It's like we don't. I feel like a lot of people. Not saying there's anything wrong with spending 25 years at one job. But I look at people differently when they're spending that much time with something that they don't feel called to do or feel that spiritual, connection to the work that they're doing. And like I will quit a job in a heartbeat. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, boss, but it's just like you can't. Like, this is like, we live in a physical world, right? But under that, you're moving out of spirit. And if your spirit doesn't feel like it can maneuver and be free in the space that you go to for 40 hours a week.
Right. That takes a toll on everything.
Communicate, you feel valued, you feel loved, you feel appreciated, you feel seen, you feel like people value your time. Like, I know.
Same.
No.
Same.
Simple.
Same. And I think that gives me a reason to give a lot of our older generation empathy, because I feel like they never had conversations like this, and I don't think that they thought they could have conversations like this. So I think a lot of times religion was that conversation for them, and at that time.
Yeah.
So that's why I think a lot of our parents are in church, because that was for them this conversation. Right. And that's why they hold on to it so strongly, because
so strongly,
like so
they got it like this,
and like it's like Jesus is on more than their main line.
And that's the thing, like no,
we're not laughing.
No.
Just
I
if
love
you're
Jesus.
listening or watching, then you understand. That's all I'm saying. It's
right.
This is one of those if you know, you know moments.
You know, yeah.
But I really think that for our parents and our grandparents, that church is this.
Yeah.
Church was their podcast.
Yeah.
And they didn't know that they could have a choice of a different type of freedom. And I think that's why they feel so free in religion, Christianity, and in religion, because because if you really listen to what they're saying, they're like, Jesus paid it all so that I could be free, but not understanding that in that they're still not free, but that's their version. And I think that the other thing is, when you're talking about 25 years on the job, I think that's the same thing when it comes to their jobs. It's just like, this gave me the freedom to do these things for my family. Right. And when you look at their view on religion, it's like, Jesus suffered so that I could be free. So now I got to go and suffer so that my children can be free. And I don't love that for them.
I hate that for them.
I hate that for
like
them.
Everyone, no one wins in that.
No one wins in that, because they never got a chance to be released enough from the chains so that they didn't pass down that trauma to us. But what I am happy about is the fact that we're all having these conversations, and we are now releasing ourselves of all of that, so that we are not passing that down. And what we're now trying and what we are doing is passing down generational wealth, and we're passing down generational knowledge, generational therapy. Like, we're like, church is cool, but therapy is amazing.
It is.
No matter what your therapy looks like. I think a lot of people are pushing therapy on people, and some people are saying therapy didn't work for them, but there's different versions and forms of therapy, whether it's just having conversations and understanding that there are other people out there that feel the way that you feel and have the same lived experiences, and that could be your therapy. But I think that, our parents thought that I think that church was their podcast. Exactly. And that's why they hold on to it so much. But
and like I definitely don't want to get it twisted, like I'm anti-church or anything. I'm not anti-church. I'm just anti-hypocrisy.
Same.
Like it's one thing to preach about love, preach about how we should treat each other, but then in the church you have people treating people so bad. Like it's not even like growing up and like, people like church. Sometimes I would cry before going to church.
Same.
There were days where I was just like, and like looking back and after dissecting all my shit, it's like, wow, like I was so anxious as a child. Like that was depression. Man. That was anxiety. That was like my community not even having a regard for my emotional well-being. And you know, as Black girls, we get it kind of very hard, you know, with the expectations on our bodies, on our you know, on our outlook on you know, being ready for marriage. It's like, why are you talking to an 8-year-old about marriage?
Oh my gosh!
Why are you talking to for a girl at that? But the men get a different conversation. The boys get a different conversation. They don't even get a conversation.
Exactly.
It's just the world is your oyster.
We were being taught how to sew, how to do all these things, and I was like 10.
Man,
I was like 10 years old.
I couldn't make food for myself without making food for everybody else first. I'm like, what?
And I'm the oldest.
Me too.
I have a sister and a brother, and it was just like my life was spent like, you know, being a mother. And I was 10, I was 8. Okay. I was just like, bro, like seriously, I just, you know, I really just want to go create some stuff right now.
But that really
do.
Though.
It did, and I was gonna say. In spite of all that.
In spite of all that.
I'm very grateful for that life though, because I feel like it saved me from a lot of things that I see definitely. A lot of people out here are going through or have gone through, because in spite of that, I can say that, you know, my mom was there for me every day. I knew where my mom was every day.
Right.
I knew my mother was gonna come home every day.
It's special,
you know, I didn't have to go out here and wonder if my mom was in the streets, or I didn't have to wonder if my mom was embarrassing me or whatever. I knew where my mother was, and if my mother wasn't home on Wednesday or Friday, she was at church.
Yeah, you knew exactly.
Saturday. My mom was Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, morning, afternoon, and night. Yep. She was at church or work, because my father passed when I was 8, but. I knew where mother was, you know, and another thing that my mother never took away from us was our creativity. In spite of everything that, you know, was being said, my mother still allowed me and my sister and my brother and all of us to, well, I just have a sister and brother, I don't say all of us, it was just 3 of us. She still allowed us to be creative. I was still in performing arts school. Throughout, all the way up through college. So my mom never stopped us from pursuing being creative. Now, some of the creative outlets that we were interested in, we weren't allowed to do because of our religion. So that was the lid.
I see.
You know, like my sister loved to dance, but we weren't allowed to dance. So she couldn't pursue that. Wow. So, you know, there were certain parts of it that there was a lid, but I will say that I appreciate, because my mother was a creative too. So she was just like, and my dad was a creative. Like my mom and dad met in theater. So it's just like, you know, and that whole side of my family was like creative. So my mother was just like, nah, this is, you gotta be creative because this is who you are. So I do appreciate that. Like I had to put some positive stuff in there.
For sure.
You know what I mean? But I do love that your friends and people close to you are your inspirations. I interviewed Awful Aaron, and when I asked him,
That's another one.
When I asked him, he said, I have to say how he said. He said, "All my niggas."
No, literally.
That's how he said it. He said, "All my niggas, everybody in my community." And then, but he did say outside of that, people like Pharrell, Tyler the Creative. He was like people like that, and Diddy, I think. But he was like, really just people in my community. He's like just seeing them just make it, and just that really inspired him. So I just love that you said that the people in your community inspired you, because I think that a lot of times people overlook the people that are closest to them in their journey, and just forget how much they've had to overcome, like this conversation that we're talking about, and all the things that you had to do to become this version of yourself. Like that's inspiration in itself. And if someone doesn't watch this or listen to this and become empowered, like I don't know what other story they need to be told. Like what else do they want to hear? Like your mom was on drugs. Like there's enough stories out there about that. Like I think for people who can relate to either one of the conversations that we're having right now should be able to say, I want people to watch and say yes.
Like it's important. It's important for us to be like this, like after seeing each other so often, we kind of, not that people take each other for granted here in Cleveland, but it's like
they do.
I was trying to reword it, but I'm like,
no,
actually we do, because we have people like Sierra.
People see people in Cleveland and say, "Oh, you're in Cleveland."
Right.
I can't wait to go to LA.
Right. You can't be acting like that in Cleveland.
Oh, you're in Cleveland? I can't wait to go to New York. I can't wait to go to Atlanta. And then you see that they work with someone in Atlanta that you know.
Yeah.
Especially for me, because I've been in the industry for a really long time. I don't think... Let me just toot my horn a little bit.
Please do.
There's a lot of people out here that don't know that I'm really like an OG out here for real. And I've been doing this for a very long time. Yeah. And I would see people... Because I don't talk about myself like that. And I would see people, you're still in Cleveland. And they'll go work with someone that I know. And I'm like,
okay. Yeah, good for you.
Because you could have done the same thing and still been at home.
Literally.
Because I know you don't have all the money that you need while you're out of town. And you could have just
taking loans out and stuff.
Been home. And just used the majority of that here and built what you needed to build, and then moved based on the money that you on your return on your investment. But I'm not about to give y'all too much free game. This is all about Chimi. So anyway, you just dropped now, which is your current single. You also dropped your EP. What is it, yesterday?
Okay, the EP is not out.
It's not out?
It's not out.
I thought it was out.
It's going to be out in like
what
a
happened?
day. There's the website, the process, it's been processing, but it's going to be out. It's going to be out. Hopefully today. I'm waiting for an email. I'm so annoyed. Like,
so for those of you out there that are artists and creatives, I'm pretty sure you can relate.
and honestly, like, I love that I'm not somebody who... Like, I used to get worked up so easily. Yeah, and
same.
Now I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's the second I told people it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to just let it simmer. And it'll be out soon.
Yes. I'm loving this for us because, like, so many things weren't where they needed to be for today. And I was just like...
And it's perfect. It's perfect.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm just like, the other me, but this me is just like...
We just gonna rock with it.
I mean, because why?
What can you really do?
Exactly. So let's talk about right now.
Let's talk about right now.
I'm
so excited.
Right now.
Yeah.
So tell us the premise behind the song. Like, what is right now? What is
right now? It's about... You guessed it, right now. I've been meditating on this quote. If not now, when? If not you, who? And I forgot who said that quote, but I'll give you the name.
Right.
No, man. But it's just a matter of, stepping into your light and stepping into your purpose and the things that you should be doing. Like, this year has been one for the books. The hardest year of my life. I've moved 4 times.
Wow.
I'm in the process of moving right now. My car is full of stuff. So it's like, I'm just so grateful to God that He's given me enough joy to still want to share love with other people. So right now it's pretty much just like a celebration of like, I'm on my shit. Yes. I'm on my shit right now. And you can't tell me otherwise. Whatever, it may not look like it to some people. Yeah. My bank account might not be up there like other people that are on their shit. But yet.
You gotta put that there. Yeah. Because that's the manifestation.
Exactly. So, but it's like, like I have enough confidence to get me to where I need to get. So, I referenced, just some things that you would experience while you're out right now. He's still calling you. Yeah, he calling me. Still calling me. Yeah. But just like, still you still have the sauce wherever stage in your life that you might think you are in. Like you're in the now. Yes. So embrace that. Be confident about it because it's gonna take you farther than you expect. And yeah. And I referenced High Life. There's some lyrics in there that might, some people might, well, if you're in the church, you might think, oh, like she just wants to be high, she just wants to be blah 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 blah. She's drinking, smoking. But please, everybody,
if you're in the church, why are you even listening to secular music?
Okay,
anyway?
Get out my.
That's like
music.
when people just be like, "What if somebody sees me
right.
at the nudie store? If they see you, that means they're there too."
Exactly.
And that would mean they would have to tell someone that they were there.
Right. But yeah, pass me the lighter. I need that High Life. Don't want to sober. We're taking over. But High Life has been a big influence. It's a genre that came out of Ghana and Nigeria, and it kind of like influenced a lot of the little sayings and the ad libs I got in there. But yeah, like we're taking over. Like I'm not trying to downplay what I got going on, and I will not. So yeah,
I love that. We're listen.
Yeah.
We said we're not really wanting to use the word vibe, but we are. We're in the same vibe.
Yeah,
like it was meant for us to sit next to each other. Like it really was. It was. This was meant
convinced.
to be. Me too. I love the track.
Thank you.
Tell us who you work with. I always love shouting out producers because I feel like producers don't really get the opportunity to be shouted out as much as they should be. So talk to us about who you work with on the track.
I worked with, this is another person who is a great inspiration to me, A-Live, Aaron Snorton. He is the music man, I call him. But he's just so dope. I met him. When did I meet him? Just like shows. I went to a couple ciphers hosted by Rafiq and Awful Aaron.
Oh, okay.
They hosted a couple of ciphers, so I went in there not knowing anyone. Hopped on the mic. I was the only singer, and they were like, "Oh, hold up, come, let's talk." So just kind of gained that friendship, and then on my birthday, he didn't even know it was my birthday. He was just like, come through. I wasn't doing shit. Yeah. And then I came through and he was just playing me some beats. I'm like, hold up. So that's where you get the title of the EP from National Geographic 4.25. That's April 25th, my birthday. Yeah. I just wanted to do a little homage to that day because it was so special. Like the vibe was there. The vibe was there, and immediately I'm just like, yeah, this is someone I can work with for a long time. Like it felt like, how after high school you go over a friend's house and you guys are just like watching stuff on YouTube or it had that feeling of just very relaxed, but we knew what we were there to do,
which is just
chilling and just getting to know one another. But he produced every single track on my EP, so please take a listen. He's so dope. A-Live, he has a couple beat tapes on Spotify too, so you can go listen to his beats and just vibe out.
Dope.
Yeah, and he's part of Muamin Collective too, so check out Muamin Collective. They're a group. Okay. And who else is on the EP? Jack Burton. Okay. Jack Burton is on there, and
as a producer.
Jack Burton, couple features.
Okay.
On certain tracks.
Okay.
Yeah. So A-Live is the only producer for all of that, and I worked with Breakthrough Sounds for like my recording and mixing, mastering. Shout out to Charles. Shout out to Janelle. I'm excited.
You call him Charles?
Charles.
That's funny.
What do you call him? What do you call him? I call people by their name.
No, that's funny. Only because like when I met him, like I literally was like helping him when he was an artist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Tubi Fresco.
Yes. Yeah. I was gonna say that's Tubi.
Tubi.
Oh my God, he's so dope to me.
No, he's really
oh my God.
Oh, he's really talented.
He's so
on a certain track.
He's so dope.
There was this track, Yeah. It's the first track on the EP, but I was like, oh, I could really use a guitarist. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, who am I gonna call to get in the studio with us to play the guitars, and I'm like, hold up, I forgot this man is beyond talented.
Yeah,
he just hopped on the keys.
He's
2 minutes.
He's so amazing.
So
he has to do his marketing.
Oh really? I love that.
He was like a hard-headed knucklehead artist that didn't want to listen.
Oh,
I saw him in Futureland. And I hadn't seen him in years. He gave me the biggest hug, and he was just like, "I want to tell you that I'm sorry." He's like, because now that I'm on the other side, all the things that I put you through and all of the ways that I spoke to you, he's like, "I'm sorry."
I mean, hey, that's humbling. You know?
So I was like,
that's
yeah,
real.
so you work with some amazing people. That's so dope.
On my first EP, and the next one, well, the album is coming next, but we're not gonna talk about that too much. But
no, we're focused on the EP.
But the EP
right now.
is special, and I definitely wanted it to, like, everything that I experienced on my birthday, I really wanted it to be felt in this EP. So,
I love that. I love that. So, for anyone that's either watching or listening, please let them know how they can support you.
Yes. You can support me by, number one, listening to my music. Following me on all my socials. Well, Instagram specifically. Just Chimi, JUSTCHIMI_. And on there, later today, I will be... I'll have a couple CDs all over the city where you can, like, pick up the EP, get a first listen. And I'm also on PayPal, Zelle, Venmo, Cash App, all of that. Cash App, Chopstick 33. I'll give it all to you, but you'll put it in. There's so much, but I'm an independent artist, so every single track is out of my pocket. You know, all the people I had to pay. So, you know, we're constantly accepting donations, and bless the ministry, bless the arts.
Yes.
Be a patron of the arts.
Please.
If you enjoy the music, if you like seeing people like me win, or just live in their truth, you know, support in whatever way you can. And
absolutely.
Yeah, you'll be blessed.
You all know I'm always saying to support the creatives.
Support them.
Support the creatives. So now's the time where I ask the question, what does self-love mean to you?
Self-love means respecting your physical, to me, respecting my physical, emotional, spiritual, psychological boundaries, and respecting them enough to know what I allow and what I won't allow. So, yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Straight to the point.
Yes.
Period.
I was gonna say period, but I'm like, that was so deep. That might city girl it up.
No,
period.
Not city girl it up. City girls got self-love. Period.
So, what does women empowerment mean to you?
Women empowerment means standing up and speaking up, even when the woman in question or as a collective aren't there. There's too many spaces where I hear people talking about women, and, like, it's just like, we have been through a lot collectively. We're currently still going through a lot, and it can be very discouraging to, like, live your truth and be the baddest or the most modest version of yourself, when every version of ourselves in the, you know, in society and media is constantly being picked at and, you know, measured against each other, you know. So just accepting us for who we really are. Like, we're we're daughters, we're sisters, we're mothers,
some of us are now brothers.
Some of us are now brothers. Hey,
yes.
But listen, like it's very important for, it doesn't matter what gender or what you identify as, but when a woman comes into the conversation, how is she being represented? So the representation can determine how empowered that group feels. So, just love, like that's really my theme for the season right now. It's moving out of love. Doesn't matter who I'm speaking to, the history, the past, whatever you did to me in the past. I love you.
Same.
I respect you. Yeah. I see you. You're beautiful. It doesn't matter. Like I will not stand for any BS. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you for answering those questions.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you for having this conversation with me.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you for coming and sitting down with me amongst the boxes.
Amongst the boxes and the lights.
And the lights and everything else.
Yeah.
And this was beautiful.
Yeah. We did reflect.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
We reflected
this
a
was
lot.
Amazing. So I hope that we get a chance to have another conversation.
Oh yeah.
And the next time you come back, there won't be boxes.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be even more beautiful.
Yeah. Get a nice little tour.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Another tour.
Another tour. Yeah.
Yes. I was gonna say a better tour, but this tour was great too.
Yeah. It was
yes. So thank you so much for coming and having this conversation.
Are we doing that? What's that question?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm gonna give him a chance to get his wrist.
Okay.
But thank you all so much for being tuned into Conversations with Cream. Please stay tuned because we're gonna do this or that, and I know you don't want to miss her answers. So stay tuned for that. But thank you so much for tuning into Conversations with Cream. This is Cream, aka Miss Cream of the Crop, and welcome to Cream's World.